Alright, we're off.
Yeah, the ambient drum and bass.
That's it, ambient drum and bass.
The ambient woolly wagtails.
We are recording, guys.
Okay.
So, different setup today. We're at the back of the van for the big episode 35.
Did we
Just
confirm
checked.
that?
We did.
We did?
I checked all
Oh, excellent.
in the coffee shop.
35? Very good. We made it. We've got a guest.
Yeah, this feels like wholly unnatural because we're all sat in a line.
Staring at the beach.
We're having beers and we're just looking out to the sunset kind
Yeah,
of thing, right? So we've got coffees and it's...
What do you mean? Everyone can see
10:30.
us on the screen.
Yeah, true.
It's exactly
We are
as
sat
it
in a
is the
line
screen.
on the screen as well.
That's
the
it,
beach
yeah.
is behind us, so we must be looking at the car park on the YouTube. Never really thought about that.
That's true. Welcome to the good stuff.
Thank you.
Do we want to do a little intro of our...
Who's the guy in the orange shirt?
Hello. This is, I'm a good guy, just like Jeff Booth, a great guy, some would say. Yeah, I'm a Perth boy into the Bitcoin. So this is a Bitcoin and quantum computing podcast, right?
It
Or,
is today,
data carry research.
Let's throw in a
It's a
buzzword
takeover,
because we've
yeah.
got. We've got.
We don't have to talk about that.
We do AI. We do the odd bit of Bitcoin, so we may as well throw in some quantum computing
Quantum in there.
so that we cover all the points and get all the hits.
We've just lost 3 of our 7 viewers for the week.
Well, I'm not going to listen back to this because it's my own
Oh,
voice,
yeah,
so
that's it, yeah.
I've only got 6
viewers, yeah.
All right,
awesome.
I'm an AI enthusiast, I suppose I'd call myself. Really loving all of the tooling and just seeing the progression of the tooling. So,
Very good.
been using like AI tools for development for about probably 2.5 years. So I started with the early the GitHub Copilot stuff, which was kind of real rubbish. But you could see that it was like there was a gem there, and I've just been using it on and off for the last 2.5 years, and most recently with Claude Code, probably like going on 2 orders of magnitude improvement from 2.5 years ago. It's crazy. It's just crazy to see how good the tooling is.
What did you do in that 2-month period where Claude Code was retarded and it rationed?
Yeah, that was.
That was tough, right?
I don't think it was 2 months, but
There's a good month,
I was
between, just before it's always just before they release a model. The current one just turns to a complete bit of shit, and you're just like, are you just negging us so that when the next one comes out, it feels like it's much
I think
better?
I tried Codex at that time, and I thought, Codex is actually quite good now, because it was pretty rubbish when I tried it months prior. But
It's also a bit retarded again now. So
yeah, I haven't seen
really-
such degradation. I have seen some crazy examples of degradation of models. So, for example, I'll be using the tooling in the day, Perth time, like GMT +8, and then suddenly more of the world wakes up, and I just see the model performance degrade quite drastically when there's more drain on the servers, basically. So yeah, haven't noticed it much recently. I think it was when I was on the $20 plan. So I was one of the first users to be turfed off, not one of the max plans. But it was quite shocking, how quickly model performance degraded, and it was very stark, very noticeable.
I think that Claude degradation though was probably the most dire that we've seen.
It was
so
really
quick.
bad because it was really good, and then it went so far downhill, so bad. I remember having moments where I was at the time I was wandering around in the tropical gardens in Madeira, trying to code an app from my phone, as one does.
Yep.
And it was it just invented an entire app interface. It wasn't wired up to a single thing that it had done, and half the stuff was already there, and it didn't use anything. It just made everything up. And I was about 4 times I just called it out on it. I was like, what is this? You're lying, right? Every time I do this, nothing happens. Why doesn't the button work? And eventually it just sort of came clean, and it'd be like, yeah, I'm really sorry. What I've done is I've just I've just lied about it all, and I've just created this really elaborate fake application for it. It's why?
There was a good lesson from me in that period.
Yeah.
So I was getting a bit too comfortable and familiar with doing edit automatically, just letting the model run and do its thing. And from that period, I learned that actually I need to be way more involved in what's going on. I actually went right back to manually approving a lot of the edits. So a lot more planning up front. I spent probably most of my time doing the planning phase, and I utilized all the 3 major ones, so Claude, Codex, and Gemini, to sort of knock out a tight plan. And you can really see the different personalities of the models come through in just the reviewing and development of plans. But yeah, just not taking my wheels off the steering wheel. Like, my hands. Like,
Yeah.
No, like he's actually got wheels for hands. It's a real. It's
easier to get around. You know?
Like wheels, hands.
like a transformer.
I'm slowly like giving the model more autonomy now, but like I was
Yeah.
quite shocked at, oh whoa, like Pete said, like it just was totally fabricating what it had done, and like just missing critical pieces, like tests that were just non-existent.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I think the other lesson in there is just to not depend on one model. I think that's like a good business lesson as well. Like if everyone's like trying to pick winners at the moment, but you kind of don't want to build up this dependency on one model in case it gets muted randomly, and then you're like a bit up shit creek. And like, what do we do now? So I think this is where like some of the stuff that we've been doing with Wingman is really good, because you just don't have that dependency. You can just switch between them. And
Yeah, like
just to plug Wingman, I've got to.
Yeah, I mean, I had it.
Gotta
I
do
was
that
trying
as
to
well.
fix the, in the Wordle app that I built with the.
Yes.
It would display weirdly on some mobile phones depending on the size of the keys. And like Codex, I did maybe about 45 minutes and just couldn't fix it. And it wouldn't get anywhere. And then I just moved it to Claude, and it one-shotted it straight away. And so I was like, I don't know. Like, I just want all of the models in one place, and I don't want to change my workflow.
That's it.
I just want to substitute them in. I think is the way you've got to be. But I had a similar feeling that when I had that issue, I figured the best thing to do is just give it less rope.
Yeah.
Like, you can't trust this thing. And like when I went back to them just saying like, just do this next thing, just do this next thing. I actually found Codex was pretty good. I did turn down all the reasoning in Codex.
Yeah.
So I just sort of said like, look, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. I want you to do it. I'm not going to bother checking the code, but I want you to just do something that's quite tightly scoped.
Yeah.
And if I just let it like through the plan like that, I could get a lot done really quickly. And I was just, because I was testing like, every couple of minutes anyway, you pick up on most stuff that goes wrong. But I thought that was...
I noticed this in like doing the Advent games. I don't know if you've seen our Advent calendar.
Oh yeah, I've been playing them. I haven't shared anything else, but I've been definitely playing them.
You gotta log in and publish your results if you want.
Publish
If you want to win the prize
Every
at the end
time I
of this.
play, it's on a browser that's not logged in. I don't have NOS to log in.
Oh my god.
Because I use like 7 browsers, but anyway.
But I've noticed this. I'll often start off a new game with Codex, but it's just not able to really like polish the kind of the front end as nicely as I'd like, and then I give it to Claude and I'm like, take a look at what Codex has done. We just need to make this as like beautiful as possible.
And it's good?
I think it's like a lot better. It's quite interesting. Like I don't know. It could just be me. Like that could be a very subjective experience, and I'm just noticing it with games specifically. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just got a better eye for this stuff.
It probably does, because my perception of like the personalities or behaviour of these models is that if I'm iterating on a plan, I generally get Claude to like sort of propose the initial plan, and I throw it to Claude, Gemini, and Codex.
Yeah.
And so I haven't used Gemini 3. I've heard it's amazing, but I can't for the life of me figure out how to subscribe to it without paying exorbitant amounts of money. It's just shocking, like coming from Google. Like anyway, this is that's a side conversation.
Google's
It's
entire
absolutely
like
messed up.
AI portfolio and their whole
So fragmented and far out.
But anything with like any of their APIs that you need to get access to, it's just hideous.
Yeah.
Trying to get access to them, you're like, how have you made this so
Yeah,
hard?
when Claude Claude Code came out, and you could just use your existing subscription, and then you could just use Claude Code. Like that was the barrier was so low to just start using it was incredible. Anyway, so I use these 3 models to review the plan. Gemini 2.5 is normally like, yep, no worries, mate, all good. It like sort of ticks off on the plan really early. It's like, yep, no worries. Claude's kind of the next one to fall, as in it will accept the plan, and Codex is anal retentive to the nth degree. It just will insist on getting all the I's dotted and the T's crossed before it will say, this is a good plan, execute. And I'll sometimes go through 20 or 30 like iterations before it will say, all good, let's go to implementation.
For this plan, like how big a piece of work are you planning out? Because I don't do any planning with these things. I just sort of roll it in my head as I go, but I'm usually making very small changes.
Yeah, so I'm probably doing bigger pieces of work. So I know a recent example is I developed an app for like my personal finances, and initially used Postgres because way back when I was setting up some of this tooling up, I had like a master Claude sort of .md that was like, use Postgres if you're going to use databases.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done anyway.
SQLite.
Yeah, just use
Fucking
SQLite,
the
exactly.
boss.
So now I've like
So easy.
transitioning to SQLite, but I've developed a lot with this database in place, right? So yes, it's literally just migrate from Postgres to SQLite. It's a very like simple concept, but actually there's so much devil in the detail. So I didn't trust Claude to just go and get it right. I wanted to knock out all the risk and lock out all the edges of the plan before I started implementing, right? Previously, maybe a few months ago, before all that Claude was playing up in the lake, I would have just thrown it to Claude and just sort of like roll with it. But I've become much more reluctant to sort of like do such pieces of work without locking in a firm plan. But yeah, they're definitely different capabilities and behaviours.
Yeah.
So what's that process look like though? Just like walk us through it. Because I mean, I tend to do a lot of planning as well. I kind of work quite differently to Pete in this respect. But like, how do you approach it? Are you writing a lot of that plan yourself? Is it something that you'll throw at Claude first pass and then edit, or like how do you like to do this work?
Probably it depends on like the breadth of the task, but I'll write a few paragraphs about what I want to accomplish, and I've already got a foundation of like instructions for the model to sort of take that and expand it. So I've already invested in sort of that part of the tooling, so I can describe what the feature I want to implement, for example, in a few paragraphs, and then I have some boilerplate sort of around it to sort of say you are the planning agent. I want you to sort of write a plan that sort of accomplishes this goal. Give it some like loose structure, and then we'll spit out the plan, and then I'll give it to the review agents, and I say, hey, you guys are review agents. I want you to like review this plan. If something doesn't look right, go and validate it yourself. Don't just tell me it looks wrong. Go and actually do the work.
Yeah.
Forage around, find it, bring it back, and I'll go through this sort of iterative loop. So yeah, the investment is really like a few paragraphs initially, and then you want to cast your eye over the initial plan, because that's where the weird shit will pop up. The first like sort of sneak up, there'll be like a sentence in there. You're like, whoa, no, don't do that. We don't want to drop the database. Like, we need to make sure we maintain the database. And so sort of knock out the risks there, and then just get largely once I'm happy with the direction the plan's going, I sort of just like let the models do their review process until everyone's like signed off, and then throw it to like an implementation agent. And again, implementation agent has some boilerplate around directions around how to proceed, and depending on how like confident I feel that it's going to go right, I'll either edit automatically or sort of like step through it.
Right. Okay. How effective is that review agent at picking up some of these things that you're spotting as well? That you're like, no, that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, they're very good.
It is good.
I think, and it helps when you use the different personalities, like the different models. So if I was just getting Claude to look at Claude, even with I guess appropriate prompting around it, you could get some behavior differences, but I'm kind of just letting the models be as they are, like the personality or behavior that's being imbued in them by like the OpenAI or Google, whoever, and just sort of
I gotta admit, I always thought that sub-agents with like custom prompts was going to be the way to go for a lot of this stuff, but whenever I tried them, they were just awful. And like they never added anything useful to me. Like,
I also
just
thought
using
that.
like vanilla agents was way better.
But I do have a few specialized sub-agents that I found to be very, very useful. And when I first like realized sub-agents, I was like creating sub-agents for everything, just going ham. I've got one which is like an atomic committer, so it'll basically all the changes I've got, and I want to commit them to Git. This comes from, I guess, open source where reviewers want to look at the diffs of the changes you've made, like step through them, and they want only related changes to be in a particular diff, right? So I just get the model to be like, okay, like you analyze these changes, and I just go, hey, atomic committer, do your thing, and it does it, and like that, it's specialized to do that.
So it'll create you a bunch of commits with like, okay,
Yeah,
here's all
it'll
the
propose
UI
the commits,
changes,
like,
like here's
this
the
is- yeah.
data model changes.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The other
Yeah,
one
that's
is
really
like again, it's a Git sub-agent is to do rebasing. So like manual rebasing is a pain
yeah,
in the
it's
arse.
fucking horrible.
I hate it so much.
I found Claude in general, like, just it would always get stuck in a loop whenever I would do
Yeah, and it
this,
tries
like-
to invoke like interactive mode
Yeah.
where it can't do interactive mode and all this stuff. So that's another useful sub-agent. I don't use it as much as Atomic Committer, but I was like, hey, we need to fix these commit history a little bit. So go off. Here's the short brief. Go off and do it. And again, like having the specialized instruction it's been definitely beneficial.
Yep. I mean, that's the sub-agent stuff and having like different personalities. That's an area where I found Goose was actually really good. And I don't know if it's just because Goose is way more vanilla as an agent. Like, I think there's a lot more just, I don't know, what you'd say, prescribed like defaults inside Codex and Claude Code to make it work in the way it does, that it makes it better for coding. Whereas for just general tasks that you want to give to models, something like Goose actually works pretty good for a lot of that stuff. So it's actually, I find it better for rebasing, it's better for using tools like FFmpeg for cutting videos.
FFmpeg's a
or
famous example.
for stuff like that. Like, it's better at that. Like, it's like Codex always messes it up, Claude always messes it up somehow. But yeah, and it will generally follow the instructions you give it. Whereas I find the coding ones are kind of they've been led down a certain path because they're supposed to be making coding changes. So I do wonder if that's why their sub-agents don't work quite as well. The other problem I've had with Claude recently is I just find him to be like a moany little bitch that always wants to ask for permission. And it's like I'm constantly just going two, and he's like, fuck, it's like, come on, you wrote the code. Why would I care if you change it? Like, I'm not looking at it. Like, come on.
That's it.
Mush, Claude, come on. And it's like, but I don't quite trust him enough to go like dangerously skip all permissions.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you not just keep asking me about this? Like, there's got to be a level in between. Or do I just have to write another agent that sits above you and just says two?
Just call it Goldilocks.
Well, I was
You need
gonna.
the Goldilocks
I had it in
agent.
the first version of Wingman had this, like inside the terminal mode, you could run in a way that would just keep injecting a 2 into the term. I call it Night Watchman.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I want to do something. I've given you the instructions, but I'm walking because I can't keep opening up this terminal app. Just keep injecting 2s until I turn you off.
See, I know that your motivation for Wingman is so you can be walking around the beach, like, and do work, but I can't, like, I can't do that. I've briefly tried it with like Claude Code web, and maybe this was wrong place, wrong time. But I was at the gym. Normally I never look at my phone when I'm at the gym, and then I had an idea for. I got like $1,000 credit for Claude Code. Like, you use this in a week. We'll use this for like feedback to build the tools. I was like, I've got to use my credits.
Yeah.
So I was at the gym, and I never look at my phone. It's always like, but I picked up my phone. And I was like, started to use like Claude Code, and then I caught myself. I'm like, no, I've broken my rule of not looking at my phone at the gym, and then I realized, like, yeah, why? Like, I don't normally walk around with my phone and do work. Like, if I'm going to do work, I kind of need a laptop. I'm just accustomed to using a laptop, and I kind of need to be like locked in. Like, I can't sort of be doing other things. I could come to the beach, I suppose, but I'd be sitting in bloody a car or a van.
That's why you get a van.
Yeah.
That's why you get a nice big van where you can sit comfortably. You got a fridge.
I couldn't be
you got
walking
your coffee
around on my
machine.
phone, basically. Like, that wouldn't work for me.
In all honesty, like, whilst that's part of the impetus for it, it was more that I don't want to be locked out of it. And in particular, I found with a lot of the CLI agents, like, you had to be in a specific computer. A lot of, I mean, well, actually, that's not entirely true. Once you're in the terminal, you can kind of use it from wherever.
Yeah.
But it was like it was a bad experience. Like, it's just, a terminal is not a very nice user interface. It's passable and you can do stuff and get used to it and you'll be quick at doing stuff. But it's not a great place to read stuff. Like, it doesn't have good contrast necessarily. It doesn't
For all
have,
your
yeah.
people that you're trying to engage and use the tooling, like with your marginal gains and whatever,
exactly.
touch. No, don't
Touch, don't look.
touch, don't look. That's right. Yeah.
Sniff, don't.
You definitely
taste,
don't want to be
or
using
something like that.
terminals and the like. Like, absolutely
No,
not.
it's like, so it was more about like not precluding like being somewhere else. Like,
Yeah.
I found a few times, particularly when I used to use RuCode. Like RuCode I still think is a great agent. Like what they've built inside VS Code is brilliant. But you've got to use it in VS Code or on their web app, sort of thing. I'm like, well, I don't want to use either of those two things. But I would find that I would finish up
ambient children today, which is great.
We had the plane.
Yeah.
But I would find that like I'd be using RuCode and I'd get up, like I'd have it like in the office running on the laptop, and then I'd walk into the kitchen and then it just sit there, it goes, all right, I've done. And because I'm not at the computer, it just sits there for like 20 minutes. And I was like, you know what, if I could just, it's only like a little bit of the screen. If I could see that bit of the screen, I could go, yeah, carry on.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's all I originally wanted. And then it developed into all this. But really Wingman is more about trying to support like small businesses.
Yeah.
And like, so for the most part, I don't think they will use the agents as coding agents. I think they will use them as coding agents because it's just incredibly useful to be able to express something into code that then just runs automatically for free. Like that's the superpower. Like, and why would you not want to take advantage of that magic spell? It's like you can be magic or not magic, which is going to be more useful. It's like, oh, being magic. Actually, that would be incredibly useful. So I think like, then for them, I think you do need an interface which is you can access from your phone, you can access it from your computer. Like, again, you don't want it on your computer though, because then it's so easy to just fuck up your computer. So now you need some sort of remote access protocol. As soon as you've done that, you may as well make it a web-based thing.
What type of businesses are going to adopt such tooling, right? Like you have the big end of town, and they're going to use the Microsoft's. They're going to be like locked into some very controlled, prescriptive environments, right?
I don't think they'll use anything. Like it's like when you hear.
Oh yeah, but there'll be directives from above saying use AI, or then they'll like monitor employees' AI usage, and they'll sack people who don't use AI enough.
I think there'll be more like don't use AI.
Virtue signaling.
They're just like really scared of the whole thing. Like when you talk to, like someone like yourself and me, like open source developers, like when I was over in Madeira, like everybody uses AI. Even the people that say they don't use AI, what they mean is they don't use it for their like really like mission critical stuff, but they use it for everything else. It's like, so it's just, and it's huge, and everybody's doing it all the time. And then you go into like a corporate environment, and it's like, no, it's too risky. We haven't done a full risk assessment against it yet. And then you remember like who you would have worked with in a lot of corporate IT departments, and you're like, yeah, this is not going to move quickly at all. Like they're just not going to agree.
Yeah.
But also, this comes back to this question around like what actually is AI definitionally, when you consider how normies view AI, to not use in a derogatory way, but just like how people are using chat-based interfaces. It's like basically advanced search, and that's like the fullest extent. Or maybe some people are playing around with like custom GPTs and stuff, and it's like you're basically scratching around the edges here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and that's where the resistance is from a corporate leadership perspective as well. It's like, this is where we're drawing the line. It's not even looking at coding agents and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm kind of with Pete on this. I think like the bigger end of town's probably just not going to use it at all. Or if they do, people are just going to be, it'll be like the Wild West. People will just be doing it in their daily work and not talking about it to anyone, you know?
Yeah.
Which definitely happens.
Yeah.
And then I think you've got, in terms of like what businesses will adopt it, I think like almost everybody. They just think it's so useful.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the analogy that popped up a couple of weeks ago was like, you know what, we should think of this like Excel. It's like the amount of like businesses that run almost entirely off lists of stuff in Excel getting emailed around. And it's like, yeah, it turns out it's really useful because you can like look at stuff.
Probably like you know the whole Excel's deterministic, right?
Yeah.
Like you know what you're going to get. I mean, the beauty, but also the like power that needs to kind of be wrangled is that probabilistic nature of these tools. And I guess like with these like tool calling loops and the like, and the ability to sort of introspect in some way what's going on, I think that certainty is somewhat missing. Like I think people need that certainty.
I've actually used the wrong analogy there. My Excel analogy is more about vibe coding type stuff. In the sense that like I think vibe coding is the new making an Excel sheet that does a thing.
Yes, okay.
Is that like it's should it be like how you'd run like the most mission critical like parts of your business?
Well, yeah,
probably not.
Most
is it how you're going to do it?
I think you guys talked
absolutely.
about this.
I mean, people will do it. Like, I mean, I I was at Rolls-Royce at the early 2000s, and like we really were just migrating from Excel into SAP. Like, and this is like, you know, like billions of dollars of business, but it's kind of nuts. But so I think vibe coding goes there, and then like that ability for anybody that like any entrepreneur really does understand like the operation of their business. And it's the people that really understand the operation of their business that can make the apps that they actually need, not like somebody coming in from outside. And it's so expensive, even just working with like smaller development shops and stuff, it's like so prohibitively expensive to create an app that if you can make that something that you can do on the side for free, and you are like the absolute expert that knows exactly what you need, you should make the, you know, good for one person version of the app that you need, because it will solve all of your problems.
I mean, that's the beauty of the Excel spreadsheet, is that you're building it for yourself.
True.
You're not ever trying to build an Excel spreadsheet and go, do you know what, there's probably a bunch of our competitors who could do with this Excel spreadsheet. Let me sell it to them for $12 a month. It just doesn't, you know, you just solve your own problems in Excel.
So I think because of that, I think vibe coding will, like, it's not really I used to hate the name, but now I'm like more into it because everybody hates it. I'm like,
yeah, it's definitely a derogatory term.
Currently, but
Well,
I think that's how it infects a lot of businesses.
I thought I had a counterpoint, and I don't know if this is a counterpoint, but this is my example anyway. So I've got a mate who has a small food manufacturing business, and so his business runs on Excel or Google Sheets, more or less, and he's built a lot of those himself. But he has a bunch of disparate systems to sort of run the manufacturing process, ensure like quality, manage customers, etc., etc. There's like probably half a dozen pieces of software. I certainly now, and maybe for the short term, I don't think that he's going to be capable, or the tool is going to be capable to build integrations between those pieces of software. So I'm going to help him because I think I can do it. I know enough about the domain, like the software, like I can build systems, right? So I can do that. But he's not capable. But is that a counterpoint? I don't know. Is he ever going to be able to? Is he?
Because the difference
he
is
has capacity.
It would have been like, because he can probably do a lot of it, right? And he can get to a point where all like the business logic stuff is done, and then the bit that remains is the integration. And in the past, it would have been prohibitively expensive for you to help him. You know what I mean? Like, you know, oh god, there's so much to do, and like I've got to learn all this stuff, and maybe it's not in a language I understand, so I've got to brush up on that.
Previously, I would have been like, no way am I helping you.
You're going to rock up with Claude Code, and you've done it in a day, and you've done enough with this
not
tool.
a day. He's probably going to listen to this. It's scope for more than that day. It's about a month of work, all right?
It's about a month of work, roughly. But instead of a year.
Yes, instead of
but
a year.
you know what I mean? Like, you have that...
Yeah.
You suddenly get so good with these tools that you're like, shit, I could, like, if you gave me like just a week focused on this thing, I could just do the whole thing. Like, there's so much you can get done so quick that you just sort of think like, yeah, like, now I could just I wouldn't do a project on this necessarily, but you know, we could just do a few days of rapid prototyping, and you've probably got most of what you need, and then we can finish it off.
Like, if say I was someone who hadn't used these tools, and I was a software developer, and I then did something like this, a project like this, I might get the sense that it would actually be very fast from my from early tinkering, but actually then you know the devil's in the detail, and you know that things can go wrong in the implementation with these models.
Yeah, that's what I'd say if I was charging my mate a month.
So what I'm saying is that you do, like, currently you still need to be steeped in these tools, and you need to like have got a lot of experience, know how to get the most out of them. There's a lot of like little hacks and ways to frame questions and ways to like prompt them, when you need to pay attention and when you can sort of like take your hands off. Like, there's still a lot of that. It's like a tool. It's like you only need to use a tool, right?
We have the answer to this, don't we? It's called marginal gains, and if you do any marginal gains,
So grab a hat, because one second, you guys keep talking.
Then we will actually help you month to month get across these tools.
There you go.
I think that's the, you know, got to sneak the plug into the podcast every so. We don't have advertisers on the good stuff, so not yet anyway. Any prospective advertisers listening, feel free to reach out. But you know what I mean? Like, that's, I do feel like some of this stuff is just time on the tools as well. And I think the other side of the equation is who is the personality running the business? Because, like, I feel like for a lot of entrepreneurs, they've been so used to or so accustomed to delegation because that's been the model for the last, God knows how long. You get into this mode of like, there's a person for that, and I'm just going to sit on my phone and I'm going to text them and they're going to do that job and they're going to report back to me.
Because that person could be a wingman.
That person could be a wingman too, yeah.
Yep.
Still texted. Sorry, I just needed to grab a hat. Then I realised I'd left my side door open with my wallet sat there. I was like, you know what?
Probably burned on my left side, but that's all right.
Safety, yeah.
Well, the sun's over here, so you should get more sun as you go. More shade.
More shade, yeah. All of the things you get at the beach studio. I don't know. Does that address that at all? Like, do you think this is still like just a big problem for adoption?
I don't really know how long it's going to take for things to be normalized, normiized. Yeah.
I mean, on your would you do work like this, and would you try and you're talking about integrating with food production software, and there's a certain level of technical risk and things that could go wrong if you do it wrong, and therefore you would take the time to do it quickly. There's also people that would spend 9 months developing a website that integrates with a CRM, right? And if that goes wrong, you could solve it by printing everything out and using a pen. You could just write everything down in a book and you've pretty much got most of the same functionality that you need. There's a lot of stuff that we do with software that we pretend is super business critical that's just really not. It's your website is not so technically complex that you're going to get hacked. It's publicly available. I can see all the source code.
Yeah.
Who cares? Your website should be fine. Capturing emails, sending emails, having a database of contacts right now. You don't want that to get hacked. Just don't put it somewhere public, and that's going to save most of your problems. When you aggregate everything into these single SaaS platforms, that's why those get hacked, because they've got everybody's data in the whole world. Don't do that. And all of a sudden you sidestep most of those problems. But, nobody, you don't tend to hear of somebody's Excel sheet of their list of customers getting hacked and leaked, because no one's going after it. There's no security on it. It's pretty worse than most.
That's it.
But I mean, everything I do in Wingman, I tend to do with Noster IDs baked in, so I can just have public-private key cryptography from the start. And it's all right, well, you've basically got best-in-class encryption and everything just for free here, if you want it, and you can just do that.
I mean, I think that's important. Have sort of those foundational pieces for free in some ways, because I used to work at an ASX listed company, and sometimes I was shocked at the lack of consideration for security concerns. But because it was more work to develop, you have to scope that work, plan it out. Oh shit, it means we're not going to put this feature out. But if you get some of these primitives for free or for less, then I think the world's a better place, because you don't have to scope the work. Well, maybe you don't have to anyway, because the models are so good they're just going to smash it out in an hour or two and make your apps secure as.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is where I think having good reusable primitives makes a lot of sense, right? And this comes up a little bit in the AI space, when people would talk about AI slop on the internet, and now you can't trust anything that you read, and you don't know whether somebody's trying to hack you in some way. And it's look, we've already got Noster, and which is a pretty, it's turning into a reasonably well distributed public-private key database with web of trust stuff over the top of it. And you're you know what, I now have I don't know, maybe a couple of thousand people around the world where I do know that the things that they said are the things that they said. And I can't know that on almost any other platform, but these are people that I verified that they are this person on Noster, and therefore I know that if they say something on Noster, or they send me a message through white noise or whatever, then it's them. It's not anyone else, or it's somebody that's stolen their private keys, which I know that these people care about, so it's unlikely. And so we can just solve all these things, and that's the nice thing, and it's all sort of open source, and we can just use it. It just beggars belief that people still think the answer to this is just let's chuck some government regulation at it and say things like, oh, just just be good. Just be nice. That's like, no. That's just.
I'm gonna refer to my notes.
Okay,
Oh,
to
okay.
take that conversation
So just,
in an adjacent direction.
Yeah, I was going to say, just
You can
to go in
contextualize. I've got 4
yeah,
pages.
like
here.
he's got a script. Like, so
I've just been reading the whole
What are we
time.
calling you on this podcast? What do you want to be known as?
You can just call me Anthony, DeadmanOz.
And Anthony.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I should have done
There
that
we
at the start. Hey, I just rolled into being a good guy.
We've never.
And I'm a great guy.
I don't know if we've
We-
ever introduced a
That's
guest
it.
correctly,
yeah.
and we never will.
Yeah. This is on brand.
But yeah, he's got like about 5 pages of notes. He's basically got a script here.
Throw back and front.
Chatting with
Yeah,
Paul.
back and
Throw
front.
back and front as well.
All right. So 2 pages. I
Yeah.
did an interview with an AI interviewer from Anthropic. Kind of understanding the usage of the tools and where the people, the interviewees, see where the tools are going. I won't refer to that one because that's a bit adjacent, like tangential to what we're talking about.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah,
We
sure,
won't.
in the show notes.
I mean, we won't.
But there
But
was
that's
some,
the sort of thing that real podcasts say.
That's what they would say. Yeah.
yeah, I've been reading some of the Anthropic research stuff, and it's really interesting and it's especially informative about like where people using these tools see them being useful or where things are heading in the future. So Anthropic did like an internal study with their engineering teams or people at Anthropic, and they also did an external one. Anyway, we'll cover the external one briefly. So they interviewed 1,250 people, so 1,250 people from 3 broad groups. So they had the general workforce, which was 1,000 people, and then creative professions, 125, and then scientific work, 125. And they basically did this AI interviewer sort of style. They talked to Claude. Claude asked pointed questions about their use of AI, like what do they wish was better with the tooling, where they see the tooling going, what do they worry about, etc., etc. And overwhelmingly, like 90% of the professionals reported that AI saves them time. So this is the general workforce, like general people, business analysts, etc., etc. And 65% said they were satisfied with the role AI plays in their work. However, 70% said there's a stigma attached to using AI tools. So people overwhelmingly find value in these tools and report it boosting their productivity, but there's also a stigma attached.
But don't admit to it.
They don't admit to it.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
people don't admit to it. And this is crazy. Like we should just be more honest with we're using these tools and we get utility out of them, and encourage other people to use them as well. It doesn't diminish you as a human. Like you're using a tool. Like you should be. That's what differentiates humans from other animals. Like our tool use. Largely.
Where does it come from? Do you think it's just because people feel like they're cheating?
I think
or is it
people just
something-
want
was
to
like-
be
it was
seen
like
as
the-
smarter than they
it
are.
was like the one-
I
the one
honestly
day
think
versus
it's
the 1 month.
downstream of calling it intelligence, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
because like nobody like felt bad about using machine learning.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, nobody felt bad about using a database. Like, oh, you fucking cheat! You used a database, or you wrote some code, or like you downloaded an open source app, sort of thing. These were all like legit and fine. But I think as soon as we like branded like LLMs as like they became like the default brand of AI, and therefore it almost became like instead of it being like, all right, the computer can talk, which is like what's happened, and that's huge. Like that's a huge win. Like having a computer that can fucking understand what the hell you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Like that's huge. That was the major bottleneck for getting shit done with computers. And then, but because they called it intelligence, everyone assumes that there's more going on inside there than there is.
Yeah.
And that it's like all the intelligence is actually in the computer. And it's like, no, it's just that I'm now way more effective at getting this computer to do all the stuff for me. It was already better than math. It was already better than me at maths. They already knew more stuff than me. It could already look up more facts than me on the internet. It's just that I had to do it using my hands and typing and then reading stuff, and now it can do some of those things for me. It's just like
I think that's true, but also like it's way more accessible now to people that machine learning wasn't accessible to.
pretty true as well.
Yeah.
So I think like you've just got like different people approaching this for the first time as well.
It's like the wrong person's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's also an element of like protectionism as
Yeah.
well, because like 55% express anxiety about AI's impact on their future, right? So if you are admitting to using these tools, then hey, can't we just replace you with the AI? Like maybe that's a link that people are making. So I think there's like a oh no, I'm not using it. Like
the answer is like yep.
Oh no, I definitely wouldn't use that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm irreplaceable. Like, you need me.
Yeah.
You need me, mate. Come on, you need me. I think
You
there's
need a
probably
month.
a lot of that
You need a
going on
month.
as well.
Sorry.
So that was the general workforce, and actually they did like emotional profiles of different industries, and so there was like crazy consistent emotional profiles across different industries or area groupings. Like people were really satisfied, but there were all those quirks, the hallucinations, like the frustrations that you come across in dealing with these tools. They were also quite high as well.
I do find it interesting because I mean, obviously, I was annoyed when Claude was being a retard and couldn't do anything for me. But at the same time, like I would just go like, all right, I'm just going to abandon like that last hour's work, and I was fine with that because I've already done like more in a week than I ever used to be able to. But like, when people get annoyed at hallucinations, I'm assuming, well, why are you relying on it for a fact?
Yeah.
But also, like, what are you just like sticking out whatever it tells you? Like where's the? It should be a backwards and forwards engagement here. Like you should be using this as a almost like more like a collaborative partner, not just. No, our model said this, so fucking pump that out into the ether and see what happens. Like, you don't have to just take what.
That's why there's like the creative professionals and the science professionals, and the science. A lot of the science professionals said, like, it can do a lot, but I have to go and just check everything, and in checking everything, like, I kind of lose the benefit of the gain. So that's a gripe that at least the science professionals had. The creatives, they said, like,
I often think people are using it incorrectly. Yeah. To me, and it comes again. I think it stems from this like framing of the LLM and the model being the intelligence. And like what I think it really does is it allows it to understand language, which is amazing. And then because of that, it accidentally smuggles in a few facts. But you don't. It's not. You wouldn't use the same thing that understands language to be the same way that you recall facts.
Yeah.
Like what you should be doing is just looking them up in a book or in a database. And computers are really good at looking up stuff in database, but instead of doing that, we just assume that the model will somehow get better at recalling facts. It's like it'll probably become less good at understanding language if it did that. You kind of need
I think
the subjectivity of the language. But if you want a fact, just get the fact. Like get it off the internet. Google.
I don't know. I don't agree. I think that the model should be.
Well,
able
you're
to
wrong.
The
That's
fact. But the models need to be better at introspecting what they're about to produce for the humans. So, like, if there is a number there, is that just fact check it? Like, run it like a tool loop and work out.
So I would refer to that more as tooling than model.
Okay,
in that case,
that's true. I mean, they're one and the same now. Like when you're talking to, like OpenAI, for example, they haven't actually trained a new model since they've had a few training runs. They haven't trained a new model since
maybe 5
May 2024.
5.1's it's
all the tooling. It's all like the harness around it, right?
Yeah.
They've had failed training runs, famously like billions of dollars gone because their training runs didn't pan out.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I think there is this myth of AGI. Somehow, it's the model gets better, and again, the model is the thing with the intelligence. Whereas really, it's like I don't think we needed any better models than about Sonnet 4 for a lot of stuff. Like we got to a point where it's like, oh shit, this thing is actually quite good, and we can make it amazing by just tweaking the tooling and the loops around it. And like that, I think, is where you get most of the gains, and in particular, I think that's where you get a lot of people's jobs disappear at that point, because there's enough intelligence and enough understanding that you can translate the stuff that you need to into something that's a bit more systematic. So we said about the problem with models is that they're probabilistic, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to be systematized. I mean, computers were already really good at making like systemic judgments or running through processes and things like that. They just couldn't interface with
it's like
anything subjective.
Marrying them together efficiently now. That's where the gains are.
So I always think like the big gain is really in that interface. It was like the thing that it did. As soon as you could have a model go from like language to a JSON object reliably, I feel like at that point,
which took like 2
that
years.
Was that was the Rubicon there in my mind. It's like but you can't say that to a normal person. So like, what is that?
I did love that Anthropic had like a full blog post about, hey, you can reliably get JSON out of our models now. Like,
it took really so long, right? Like, because OpenAI had it pretty early on, and like I think that's why they were used for so much stuff on the back end, is because they could reliably spit out JSON. But which I assume is they just had a better parser tool going off the end of the model they would run.
All right, we'll just go through the other ones. Creative professionals, like 97% said they're getting saving their time and making them more productive, and they're like highly satisfied with the tools, but they're also expressing that anxiety that I'm really worried about my future because I'm getting such good utility out of it that am I one day going to be redundant from the process? And I guess
there's got to be an analogy there, right? Because it's almost like your worry is that you're using the tool on behalf of someone else. Right? So if you've got like a client you're doing work for, they have something that they're trying to achieve. You come in and you add some, like, I don't know, value in that, in the design and the execution of the thing. And maybe there used to be a lot more value in the execution because the client couldn't do it, and now it's probably more like the design and the input and the imagination you bring or something. But I wonder if there's like, I don't know, like something like a master woodworker or something like. I mean, I love woodwork stuff, so
I should introduce you to my dad.
Yeah, okay.
Wood Turning Association of WA. He's
oh right, I might have talked to him.
He went from retirement, working crazy hours in working to working wood turning.
My daughter wanted to go to a craft fair recently, and I was talking to the people from Wood Turners Association at WX. I was like, oh, this is interesting.
You probably met my dad then.
Yeah.
Small world.
But it was, like you wonder, like, a master craftsman, he still just uses like a chisel and a saw, but they can do amazing things with them that you can't do. So there's something in the idea that there's definitely a premium in somebody that can use the same tool as you, but better.
Yeah.
So there's probably something there that, like, definitely be the best person at using the tool. And then there's also something about, like, the eye of the person that says, like, this is, you're describing that, but I think what you probably want is this, and, like, here's a little bit of added flair.
I don't think society's ready for people to be kind of pushed into having to differentiate themselves or work harder or, like, have agency, right? Like, people are kind of stumbling around, like, in a haze, like, days and...
Yeah.
Do you think there's also, like, an element of recency bias here as well, where, well, I mean, if you take a creative discipline, for instance, like, are we saying that, like, job specs haven't changed much in 20, 30 years? Like, there's been a heap of tools, like, just talking to Jared last week, right? Or the week before. There are a heap of tools that have changed how designers work over the last 20 years. And then that creates new job functions, new job specs that it brings entirely new people into the discipline. I just wonder if there's, like, an element of that going on as well, where we're just going to see the job spec shift. And in the short term, these guys who are actually using the tools a lot, like, do they not become, like, way more valuable because all of a sudden they're churning out like 100 times what their rivals are in the first place? I mean, there'd be a premium on that.
I mean, that was the idea behind the Advent calendar, right? Was that, like, I felt like I was getting a lot done, but it's not visible.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I reckon if we did 25 games in 25 days, it starts to become reasonably obvious that, like, all right, you guys have released 30 websites this month. This is
how are you doing this?
That's right.
Like, all right, I can see it. There's something here.
When I saw you doing that idea, I was like, damn it, that's a great idea. I'm going to do it next year, but for something different, not games or something. But, like,
just that's, like, where it came from.
I was going to, like, do something like that.
Little to-do apps and various other things, like all built on Nostr and everything. Games will be more engaging for
people. A bit more fun, so. And more shareable.
Let's keep going.
Okay,
who else is worried about their jobs?
So we've talked about general creatives, the scientists.
So they're stuffed as well. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but they're not as worried. So in general, they don't fear job displacement. And I guess, I don't know, we can hypothesize as to why, but apparently they're not good at core elements of research like hypothesis generation and experimentation. I guess experiment design. But they're really good for literature review. I guess we know they're good for coding, and they're also, like, productivity gain for writing, right? So trust and reliability concerns, that predictive deterministic nature is lacking for scientists. They want that, they need that.
Do you think people, when they answer this question, are approaching it from the point of view of, like, can the AI take my job, or is there going to be an impact on my job because of AI? Because this sounds more like an answer to, like, oh, can the AI just do everything that I do in my job? Whereas I would think that even just allowing more researchers to become good at coding is going to just completely upset the apple cart of who gets what funding and, like, who can do what experiments.
Well, this is some indication of the answer. 91% of scientists express desire for more AI assistance in their research.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, my wife's a researcher, and she works with sensitive medical data, and so she is shit out of luck from using these tools. Like, she can't use these tools in the systems she has access to. Like, it's just big. It's just
you could.
Too much confidentiality.
So we used to, with StatWork, they had systems where you could come along with a Mac Mini with only local models on it, and the only purpose of that would be then to obfuscate all the data that you had. So you would then take the sensitive data, turn it into non-sensitive data, and then you could perform the analysis that you wanted.
All right, so the data she has access to is like PBS data or Medicare, which government systems, who knows
it's more
when they're going to be plugging that data into, like, even like
it's
government hosted AI.
Like, it's already available on the dark web, I'm sure. If you really wanted to go and get it.
But I think there is like both OpenAI and Anthropic do have programs to push the boundaries with AI and science, that synthesis. So I think OpenAI last month, they reported on some working with researchers from leading unis, like in a whole bunch of different fields. How can these researchers use ChatGPT 5, like a tailored version for science, to assist with science, to work alongside scientists? And it was used primarily as, the human is in control still, right? So the scientists set the agenda, they define the questions, choose the methods, validate the results, etc. But the AI was used for the breadth, the speed, and the ability to, like, once the direction's set, go and forage, go and do the work, and bring it back, and then we'll review it, and then we'll set another direction. So to be able to sort of like accelerate, once the plan is set, go and do the thing. Yeah, that's where the gain was, and I think they actually had a few breakthroughs that came out of it. Some like new scientific knowledge. One was in maths, another was in human biology. That they attribute to wholly the contribution of the AI. If the AI hadn't been there, like, they wouldn't have made that leap, or it would have taken much longer to get there, right?
This is one area where hallucinations are quite valid as well, because you'd be like, right, well, just like come up with a bunch of crazy ideas, hypotheses, and then you start to knock them out and go, nah, it's like when you ask it for a list of 100 names. It's like, I'm not going to sit down and come up with 100 names. But if you give me 100 names, I can tell you which ones are crap. And then some of them are like, ooh, there's something there, like riff on that. And then you get stuff around that idea.
Yeah.
And I could see it for a lot of that sort of analysis. You can't just say, be perfect first time. Which I honestly think is how a lot of the people that have like hot takes as thought leaders, I honestly don't think you use any of these tools. You're just
very true.
The way you talk about this just makes me think that you haven't used it. You certainly haven't used it in the same ways that I use it. But
yeah, it's almost like the expectation in scientific research is like, how effective is the model at just one-shotting a cure for cancer? Like, that's just not, because we just have this like one-shot expectation constantly because it's intelligence. We're like, you should just be able to provide like moments of genius on demand.
Most people are using AI probably for even trying to one-shot cancer solving.
But that's it, that.
Oh, hang on a minute, we should give it a crack. I didn't think it was my place, but maybe I'll do it later. I've got a max plan. Like, put it on deep research and extended thinking, and just be like,
no, they're using it to like write their papers, right? And so there was an AI conference, one of the big machine learning, like prestigious machine learning conferences. There was they looked at 300 of the submissions, and they found that 1 in 6 had fabrications in terms of like the references, or in terms of like quotes and things that didn't exist, right? This is like the top end of machine learning research, and like
they couldn't be bothered.
They couldn't be bothered to check their work, right? 1 in 6, crazy. Like, this is, you'd expect it to, you'd hope it was much lower, but if it's at that level, at like the high end of town, imagine what it is everywhere else in society.
It just means that 5 and 6 also used AI,
and they were just better,
and they checked their references. That's the difference.
Yeah, possibly.
So they didn't get quite as much done, but they did have stuff that stood up when you looked at.
Yeah. Well, the question is like, what are you optimizing for? Like, is it speed, or is it, as Pete was just saying, like, is it just good at like injecting fresh thinking while holding like a corpus of data and knowledge in its head?
I mean,
And that's valuable as well.
I don't see that as like necessarily different to speed, because a lot of the time, like the way you would get that is you need some sort of like serendipity. Like if you read like Rick Rubin's book, like it's very much about like, yeah, you know, sometimes you're just gonna be like hanging out in a cafe in France, and then something will happen. You'd be like, fuck.
Yeah.
But you need to be there, and you need to be in the moment for these things to happen. And like just a little bit of like forced serendipity to go like, all right, I need some ideas here. It kind of does come around as speed. Like
That's true.
and it's not that it's raw speed. It's more like, all right, there's like a path that I will take to something I'm trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And I used to get tripped up because I needed to talk to somebody, let's say, and the person that I could talk to wasn't available until a week on Tuesday, and therefore that project would sit idle until a week on Tuesday. Or when you're learning to code, you would realize that like, okay, this is broken and I need to debug it, and to debug it I need to spend a week on Stack Overflow reading things that aren't quite the thing that I need to do, and then translating it back and then learning, and then like each of those now becomes like, okay, that debugging now becomes like a 4-minute task.
Yeah.
Versus like, all right, if I need to talk to somebody instead of a week on Tuesday, I can just talk to this thing now, and it actually unblocked me and I moved on. Or I need to send it to my editor and get it back in a week. All right, I didn't send it to an editor, I sent it to a computer editor and it's back now. And so all the cycle times just come down because there's not this weird built-in lag that there used to be.
I know. I think about how much I could have accomplished in the past if I
it's
had
nuts,
these tools.
right?
Like, holy, oh man.
But you realise then that you go, oh shit, like nobody's using them. Like it seems like everybody is, because we're in a sort of weird little bubble, and I think, you know, you're wearing an open source everything hat, right? Like it's like that community is just primed to use the tools because they're like, oh shit, nice. Like this is all there. Everything that I'm doing is public and available anyway, so no issues. There's no like compliance check. Whereas if there's people that could use these tools actually sitting in like bullshit like enterprise coding jobs, they're kind of like doing stuff that's kind of meaningless, that's not very hard, that aren't allowed because of a risk and compliance team are telling them they can't use it.
Yeah, most corporate
And like
work is
you can just go and do
meaningless.
like 10 years work in the next year while they're stuck. That's the benefit, right? So we should do that. Just get more work done.
What's going to happen for the kids?
I think the kids will just be really good at using them, and they'll weirdly grow up in a society where it's kind of normal to offload a bunch of work to computers. I mean, I think if you think about these things as just slightly cleverer computers, like a lot of the fear-mongering stuff goes away. Because like when you have someone had asked me to listen to Tristan Harris talk to like Stephen Bartlett and opine on it from like an, it's like, is this real? Like, should I be worried about all this stuff? And I was like, oh god, I don't really respect either of these.
Diary of a CEO guy.
I was like, I don't really respect either of these people. This is going to be a hard listen, but you know, I chugged through it, and it like the core argument kind of comes down to this idea that there's a moment where there's like a model, and then there's another model that's slightly better, and then that's a breakaway, and it can do anything. And it's like if your whole argument is like, yeah, but there's this moment, right, and the magic, it's magic now, and it can do anything. And it's like you only think that because you don't know what it does. Like, and it's not how they use it, and it's not where the gains are being made. Like the gains are being made in tooling, and tooling is very like iterative and at the edge and all of these things. It's like, so I think your entire premise is incorrect. But there isn't like an escape velocity here that's based on a bigger model. It's just going to be around tooling and application. Now, the fear of job loss, I think, is real. I think there's a big change and shift in society as stuff like this automates more things. But like, it's not this massively like centralizing thing where a new model comes along and then that person wins and they're the only person that can compete because now it's self-improving. Like, this is just, I think it's just like a misunderstanding
it's going to
of how it
happen
works.
slowly with different industries, areas sort of that are impacted quicker than others. I know, so like one of my anecdotes is I used to have like a tax agent for like 15 years, whatever, help me file my taxes, and then my circumstances have changed, like I'm not like full-time employment, blah blah blah, so and I have I'm like a business owner now, sole trader, so I was like, well, my taxes are going to be real difficult this year. If I give it to this guy, it's going to be a heap of back and forth. I'm going to have to write all this documentation. I'm going to pretty much have to do all the work for him, and then he's going to charge me an arm and leg for it, much more like being accustomed to because of all this additional complexity. So how about I just try and like build some tools to help me do that myself? And so I was a bit ambitious about how quickly I could do this. I was like, I could do this in a week, no worries, it's easy. Took me about 2 weeks, so not much longer, but I got there. And that was in the period of the neutering of Claude, so maybe I could have done it anyway, like in a week. But now like I have no reason to ever use someone like him again because I've built sort of the foundation to allow me to do this myself, and I can extend it in ways that I want to. I can get it to like go out and look at changes to the tax law and then plug that in, and it can be much more tailored to my circumstances, and I could probably get at least paying like a reasonable cost for a tax agent who's got a whole bunch of other clients, spends a narrow slice on you, or probably doesn't even because he's got junior staff that does it. And for me, this was like the first, this is a white collar job that I've kind of eliminated. Like I've used an AI to build, it's not an AI replacing him, but I've used the AI to build some tooling to sort of replace that role for me.
But like, how nuts is it that you've made your own custom zero for your own situation? Where
it's like both silly and also, I mean, but great. So
this was an early thing on the podcast that we would talk about. It would be like the death of like SaaS companies, and it's not because they're not big and well funded and they can't also use these tools and stuff, but it's just like they just can't be personalized in the same way that you can. And like, because your stuff doesn't need to be glossy, it doesn't need to have like an amazing UX that it can be understandable by every single different person in the world. But the SaaS business model is I need to go wide.
Right. Yeah.
Like I need 10 million people to use this app for the economics to work. Whereas yours is like, if I can do this in a week, like it can be ropey as, but I only need to run it once a year. I could spend another week debugging it if I needed to, and then I've eliminated like all of the costs that I would, because I had to pay a person here. This is now, I don't know, 20 grand that I don't have to pay that person or something. So it's worth it from an economics point of view.
And maybe this is bringing back an old acronym from early episodes, but HATE.
Human at the edge.
Human at the edge.
The hate methodology.
Hate methodology.
Worst branding. It's not ideal.
So this proves I'm an OG listener, because that was like episode
1 maybe?
No, I mean it was
early,
single digits,
maybe
3 or 4 or 8 or something.
Friend of the pod. Official
Thank
friend
you.
of the pod.
Finally being disturbed by the Howard term friend of the pod.
I kept meaning to say it, and then I just
fucking A.
Let's
just close it.
Yeah, you got what you came
I got what I came for. Well done, boys. See you later.
straight into the ocean. But yeah, like I think a lot of stuff like that could be. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because you would think that Xero would have managed to get rid of your tax advisor before you. But again, for their business model, it's way more useful for Xero to support a tax advisor that then brings on like 50 different clients that all put stuff into Xero for their workflow than it is for yours.
Yeah.
So your unique circumstances aren't really part of their spec. Like they're not incentivized to help you. They're incentivized to help the middleman that brings in the people.
I also have it do like because I run servers. I got like self-hosted models and like got GPUs running blah blah blah. So I try and claim back as much electricity as permissible as well. And to do that, like I've got to get my electricity bills, like work out was there a change in rates? I've got to do all these calculations, and so just throw my electricity bill in there. A VLM that's self-hosted and private, like will parse the electricity bill, pull out the relevant information, and then do the calculations, and then make that a deduction. So I can sort of go ham on this, but it was a fun exercise for sure.
But in terms of like to bring it back to your original question, in terms of the kids, like what does it mean for the kid? Like my personal take is that kids are really adaptable, so it kind of doesn't matter too much because they will just adapt.
Maybe I don't mean the kids. Like what does work look like when our kids, my
Well,
kids are like
Yeah,
in the
but
workforce.
it is valid.
Basically, you
right? 'Cause
sit at the back of a van.
There's no pine out the back of the van at the beach.
It's all right. We got Bitcoin, right? So we're good.
Well, I mean, that is like step number one.
I-
Buy Bitcoin.
When you talk to Jeff Booth, he was like, you try and encourage people to use the AI tooling, and then you're like, oh no, just buy Bitcoin.
It's like step one, buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, how does that
Because-
fit in?
Yeah, like do that because then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like if this stuff does play out in a way that we think, you probably want that. Anyway, then we can move on to step two is get rid of this stuff. But sorry, Andy, you want to carry on talking about the kids?
No,
Or
it's,
what work looks like?
it's not even that. It's like the kids are on like a 20-year learning track, right, to get into jobs, and the learning track's not going to change anytime soon because there's a heap of vested interests that just love to extract from the existing model. So they're going to go through, and we're just going to keep pumping out lawyers and accountants, and so I think that's where the disparity occurs. Like, yeah, kids are adaptable, but we're also forcing them through these like predefined funnels which are not adaptable, which are not keeping pace. I think that's where the disparity emerges there, and where some of the problems lie. But that's both structural for society to work out, but also like at an individual level, which is what we're talking. It's just about tapping into agency and creativity and adaptability. Or you could just come to the beach, start a podcast.
It doesn't pay.
Not yet, Pete. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Right, yeah, that's good. Good positivity. I like it. It's probably all about to turn around.
I think it might well do now.
I reckon we swear too much.
Well, that's true. It's probably not useful for the
And
YouTube algo.
Yeah,
So-
I've been holding back. Normally I'm effing and Jeff and everything.
I don't know why you bother. You listen every week. You should know better than
point.
everyone.
I'm trying to help
Just
you
come
guys
back.
get some more YouTube ad revenue. You know,
Well, then
from
then-
21 cents to
then why aren't
42
you
cents.
commenting and like recommending us to your friends?
Bloody hell.
Come on, comment and recommend to your friends. We should like and subscribe.
Like, yeah.
Yes, we've done it. We got it in there.
I think I've alienated too many of my friends already. Chatting about Bitcoin and AI. They just want to talk
does
about
do that, yeah.
property prices and like interest rates and shit.
So, well, I'll tell you a thing or two about property prices. They go down in Bitcoin. You know, interest rates. You know what they're fucked.
That's a quick way to beat data group chats. Just like telling everyone their property's going down in real terms.
Yep.
I was like volunteering at a scouts thing the other day. We're talking about like pools and how it's kind of weird that the government funds private schools.
Yeah. People,
And
a
it's
lot of
like,
people don't
we really
know that.
shouldn't
Hey.
do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I do agree with you, but I owe the government shouldn't be involved in any schooling at all. And it's like, whoa. And then I was like, yeah, but I mean, that's only because I got to the chat and it shouldn't exist. It's like,
And then they're like,
it's
"Right,
like, hi,
Yeah.
I am Pete. Oh, well.
What's your next like AI project? What do you other than the game adventure? What's next? You got
So obviously there's a lot of focus on Wingman at the moment, and then we're building that into so we've got the first, we've done like 1, number 2, and then we're also going to be doing the first speedrun. So speedrun, I've got a couple of potential January we need to think about. January
so what's
tough.
Speedrun?
So speedrun is like touchdown, kind of like here's
Touchdown. Okay, an
here's
hour
like an
kind of
hour
thing.
sort
Yeah.
of view of like fuck I didn't know I could make an app in an hour sort of thing. And then so in speedrun what you do is you come in and you build like a CRM from scratch, and then you build a marketing website for your company from scratch, and then you have an agent write blog posts that are relevant to your marketing website and publish them directly into the website for you. And then you have like you mock up, like you go along and you'll sign up to other people's websites around that. And the agent like walks you through like the onboarding loop for bringing you into the business and like pulling you through them. Like the idea there is that then you go like, oh shit, that's like a whole function.
Is this like small medium?
Yeah, in general. And then so the idea is like, can you have somebody the whole business function from scratch in like 4 hours? And then that should get you and to go, okay, there's something here. I can actually.
Okay, so you're
automate
going
that
from
whole thing.
only 1 hour, like from 1 hour with it to sort of.
Well, it's flagged as day, but the day is from like 9:30 to 2:30. Is then you've got, if you need to do other work, you can. If you need to pick up your kids, you can. It's just to try and make it easy for people to engage with.
Yeah.
And again, I think is that you want to start flow working the model so that you can work from 9 to 2:30, so you can have your kids. Like this is like a good thing. So I think it's good to have that sort of stuff just layered into the courses. So that's the course that we launch, and then the follow-on from Speedrun is Marginal Gains. So once you've done a speedrun, then you're welcome into the Marginal Gains. So you get the first
like
month for free, and you can carry on if you want.
Okay.
And then Gains means you get like every month, then there's modelled off to what was going on in software engineering when I was over there. It's like, you know, social. So there's like social walks and talks sort of thing. So like, you know, let's get out, let's learn about the businesses, what the problems are. We have something over here, do stuff, lots of flats, yeah, stuff like that. But you know, you get people out talking to each other. So it's the general like social group stuff that you need to grease the wheels, understand what's going on, like find out from people. Every month we're going to be doing like rapid prototypes of like new systems that you can use in your business.
Yep.
And the idea would be like the way we built like the course for Touchdown Lock and Speedrun is you build like a solution that can then be customized.
Yes.
So you take care of like data model problems and all the logging problems and the encryption problems and making it secure.
All
All that and then you can just iterate on top of it.
Yeah, nice.
And so in that, like every month you get to come in and we do it in response to like, well, what's the biggest problem that people are finding in this community right now? So that's that angle. The other thing I want to spend a little bit of time on when I get it is the Beacon project.
Yeah, that looked pretty impactful.
Yeah. I was
Potential to be anyway.
I was listening to Danny talking with like Eric and the guys down in Kenya the other day, and they're talking about like a Tando system, and like one of the things the guy came from the Fedi days, and he does like UX research in Kenya and various other places around Africa for people trying to move into that environment. And like one of the things he says, like, you know, the problem is with a lot of these apps is if the app is above like 8 megabytes or 16 megabytes, like nobody will download it. No one can afford to download it. And I was like, you know what, Beacon's just made for this environment. It's just like you already have WhatsApp anyway. It's already free data for you. And I was thinking like for Tando thing, I think we get to those guys. I could just integrate it so that you don't know, like you could pay M-Pesa through WhatsApp sort of stuff. It's like a balance. You pay it by the end, and then we just use that as the back end. Oh, that work quite.
Yeah, busy 2026. How it work?
Could be. Hopefully, it probably won't. It probably be down here, like, hang on about.
Monetizing pod.
You got to start doing business on there.
Just
I'll start business on there.
We should start doing it or stop doing it. What's the
start doing it.
Well,
More aggressively. Just start talking about like your business plans. Like
we kind of do. I mean, it's changed, or not changed. We kind of started off with.
You should start courting adverts. I'm talking about, right?
We should, yeah.
So like, who's going to advertise? I don't know.
Because
Just Deloitte
stuff.
just name drop. After this episode, yeah, obviously,
Probably not.
VLOL is going to 10x from here.
Well, I'm going to be building a game with my kids.
Nice.
It's going to be like cross between Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use as many assets as I can to make an actual, like, you know, Charmander or Eevee or whatever.
Ooh.
So
yeah.
I'm not going to release it. I know Nintendo's like legitist to the max. They will sue their head.
They do list Nintendo.
But it's going to be
Sensei Nintendo.
cross between Pokemon and K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, wow.
This is that you're like
Really,
a K-pop
like,
Demon
leaning into
Hunter.
the-
You play as one of those characters. Like instead of fighting demons, right? You can deploy Pokemon into the world to
My
fight on
kids
your
are-
behalf. And it's, my daughter's like, my eldest daughter is just super keen.
Yeah, my
She
kids
started
will
doing design.
probably want to play this game.
Started doing the design work for it. So that's our summer project. So you guys can do your wingman sort of business
Very
shit.
good.
And I'm going to just be
Building games.
building games.
I mean, I do have for my son, like, we've got a design for like an AI assisted board game. So like a miniature skirmish war game that you can play using AI that builds stories of the game as you go and stuff like that. And I think something like that might be quite fun because then you could like publish all the stories onto Noster and have like a whole world develop based on different stories that people then play in. All the things that might be fun. Maybe I'll finally finish Teddy Fashion Boutique.
Yeah.
Put that out the door. But it's just sitting down with it. I mean, we did, like, my boy was doing like a course on and so we just like vibed up a whole website of the thing with games, like 2 games built in where you could like mix and match. You could marry like a god to a demigod and then see what the powers of the child were and all this stuff. And then that's where Minus Games Day 2 kind of came from. It's like
Really hard play on the phone.
Yeah. You could do it. You just needed an answer.
I defaulted playing because it's easy. I see him on like Noster. I'm like, I'll probably try and play. I'm like, I need to get onto my computer.
It's like, well, I mean, look, these games are really built for you to sit down in a leather-bound armchair in the library with
Smoking a cigar
and whiskey.
in your library.
Like you should be taking your time. You know, you should have the butler come in and sign in using your Noster extension, your Noster hardware wallet.
Any ideas for games for us to
Oh
build
yeah,
up? Because we
Apart
are
from
like,
K-pop demon hunters crossed with Pokemon. That sounds more involved.
I don't know if we've done a
Like
good
a-
job of telling
I
people
like
this,
it.
but
Like a dungeon crawler. Like,
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
just simple like a wizard has turned you into a whale. Is this awesome? Yes, no. Like, one of those sort of like make decisions, go to the next room.
I did have
What's
one of those to the list.
Roguelikes. That's the roguelikes, the categories I'm thinking of.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's like a Monkey Island or
Yeah, it's like a 2D dungeon sort of.
Yeah.
No.
yeah. I did start knocking up a Doom mission the other day, which I thought would be good. But,
Yeah, I'm hoping that and use some of it to work on my Pokemon cross demon. K-pop demon
yeah, I
hunting.
mean, like building man, like because originally the first version I put on my Mac Mini, and then someone was like, "Oh, can I install this?" I was like, "Maybe." Like, who knows? Like, I installed it, and then I've done a lot of things to it, so who knows? It does work if you can install it on new environments. It figures out like whether you're running like Mac or Linux. You put up Windows if you want less people.
Don't worry about it.
Sorry, but, like you shouldn't be using sophisticated tools unless you've got problems. You keep doing first. So as long as you've got like a Mac or Linux stuff, you can install it and use it locally.
That is a lot of small businesses,
That's all right.
in fairness. Yeah.
That's why there's a station there.
Really well done.
But there's a lot of stuff in the website. There's a few different things I want to build on. We talked about content at the end of the last episode. Like I'm really keen on this as a primitive, being able to provide services over Nostr using a pub key. Like I think there's something there. So I think you could like replicate a whole bunch of like just SaaS platforms that exist, like Superbase or something, but it's XVM. You pay that's for hosting of your database. You kind of don't care what it is, and just keep backups. Stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I have no use for context anymore, but I can see how it's using. Like, I don't need to use it as a transporter to another service or whatever, but like, if I did, that would be incredible. It's kind of like they're getting things for free, right? You just use this as a translator, interacting with another service. And you get all the nice.
Well, you also get like almost like all your for free, and it's kind of linked to your social account. So I could give you access to something like you don't have to get you to sign up to an account. Like, use your pub key. And it's all in like public, private key, verified. So it's almost like the best off that you could have.
Yeah.
Just for free inside something. So yeah, so I'm really glad to explore some of the guys there. But I don't know when. There's just a lot to do. But
but like in summary, you can now do these things.
Yeah.
Whereas before you had to be. I mean, you still have to be deliberate where you spend your time, but you can achieve a lot more. You have more agency.
You can experiment more, and the cost is a lot lower. Whereas previously it's the investment in time as well. You might spend 6 months on something and then go, shit.
Yeah, like I want to react. Fuck that. Build it for me.
Well, I mean, this was we said about like other stuff's kind of pivoted a little bit in what it was doing, but really this is the initial or so, and it was like we weren't really sure how to execute it or how people into it. And so we built to various other things that people were asking for, and I think like this is the correct way to align it. It fits the sort of small business angle, like people we really want to help. I think they're the people best set up to take advantage of the whole change of AI as well.
We were also early a year ago with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think too many people would have dropped what we're offering or why it's valuable. Yeah. So I think it makes more sense for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, we also built building man originally for myself, and then you go, this is useful. This will be useful for these people. And then it almost becomes easier once there's physical's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Like once there's something that you can look at and use.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it makes sense. So I'm pretty pleased with that. All right. We're putting in. Things behind. Yeah, Benny. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
Should we call it
After
that?
that? Yeah.
What do you say, Pete?
Say that's the good stuff.
Got in. Nice. Nice.
We only had
no, and coding overloaded.
No.
I don't know if it's just like.
Oh, it hasn't got anything.
I lost it. Let's see.
Stopping recording. Let's
just leave it for a bit.
Leave it as is.
And see what happens. But I don't know why it would be. Oh, that'd be annoying.
It has been known to happen.
Yeah, this has happened in the past.
You've lost a whole. Look, I don't mind coming back in a few weeks and coming to the beach.
We'll just do it as whatever we've got.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good though. It was good. It was very wide ranging. But it was interesting. We might have noticed that earlier.
What did it say?
It's in the status bar down here. We've got this encoding overloaded. can skim down videos.
Oh, so you're doing this all at once, so it
But
has the...
we always do this. And it's usually fine. The only problems we've had previously has been when we've run something like Riverside and this at the same time.
You don't
and
have
then it
many
can't
apps
code
over
it. No, well, nothing that's like touching sites. That should all be fine. Like this is pretty much everything. It might just be a bit hot.
Yeah.
So maybe we just avoid it to hot. The thing you can do is just leave it
Sort itself out.